these are the Mizuno Alpha 3 Elite. In this video, I'll provide you with a brief overview of the specs, the sizing, my initial thoughts, and just my experience in the boot so far, as well as a bit of a comparison with the previous model. So starting off with the specs of the boot, it's actually built on Mizuno's new last, which they call the Engineered Fit Last Neo. And the last is built in such a way to provide a more anatomical fit, which provides better lockdown in the midfoot and in the heel area. More on that later. Now, the biggest change to the boot is the overall construction. We've gone for a synthetic base to a knit-based boot. Now, this gives the boot a one-piece construction, which is more snug around the foot and wraps your feet like a sock. And of course, now you can see as well, you have the integrated knit tongue as well. And what this does, it kind of pretty much eliminates any tongue movement and provides a better wrap around the instep. And then around the boot, you have what Mizuno called their engineered stitching. What this strategic place stitching will do is reinforce the upper of the boot without adding like weight to it, as well as the fact that it improves the kind of structure and lockdown. And then briefly looking at the heel of the sole plate here, you have what Mizuno call their NZ heel foam. And what this is a critical foam in the heel, which is there for underfoot cushioning, as well as provide a bit of energy return when sprinting. And then on the inside, you have the Mizuno NZ XB sock liner or insole. And similar to the NZ foam, it provides that underfoot cushioning as well as a bit of, energy return. And then looking at the sole plate, it's pretty much the exact same sole plate that was used on the previous two models with these triangular shaped studs. Aggressive without being too aggressive, it provides great traction with the surfaces you play on. Now, it is a knit-based boot, but as you can see, the knit is not completely exposed. There's lightweight synthetic upper, which kind of just coats the upper to provide that kind of barefoot feel that you expect from a speed boot without adding too much weight. The boots also feature an extended heel counter, just like the previous two models do, and this is just for more stability in the heel area. Now, something that I'll get onto later, it has to do with the fit, but these are very wide boots. These are built on a 2E width as a standard. So now let's talk about these boots on feet. Now, as always, I'm going to leave what sizes I wear on screen, as well as scan of my feet, because that's my reference point of view when I provide my sizing. Please do bear in mind we all have unique foot shapes, so it might not 100% work for you, but hopefully you can use this as some sort of guide. Now, as you know, with Mizuno's higher spec boots, you have the Elite model and you have the Made in Japan, and they fit a bit differently. So in the Made in Japans, it's usually I have to go like a half size down, and from what I've heard with the Elite, you usually just get your usual size. But the thing with Mizuno boots, I find that I'm a bit in between sizes with them. On feet, I'm wearing a 9.5 UK in these, and I say the fit for the most part is very good. It's very comfortable. You can tell they are a wide fitting boot. It's not too constricting on your feet. And then you have the suede lining in the heel as well, which just provides very comfortable premium feeling as well. However, I would say that the lockdown in the heel area is slightly lacking. Now, to fix this, I could easily just do the runner's loop, wear a pair of grip socks, or at the most, maybe add a few extra lace holes. I even thought about going half a size down, but I thought with the amount of space in the toe area on these, I would think that going half a size down to a 9 would just crush my toes and it just ruin the experience. I'll get more rubbing in the heel, etc. So with these, like I said, I'll just have my options, maybe thicker socks as well would be a good option. But I think if you want a pair of these, I'd say if you have wide feet, yeah, go true to size in these, get your usual size, or if you wear Nike at 9.5, get a 9.5 in these, etc. But if you maybe have medium to narrower feet, I would suggest maybe you go a full size, well, not full size down, sorry. You go a half a size down. So if you wear 9.5, you get a 9 in these if you have medium or narrow feet. And then volume-wise as well, probably should have touched on that a bit earlier, but hey, I would say that it's medium volume, they are a wide fitting boot, but I wouldn't say the volume's crazy as such, but overall, I'd say these are a wide fitting boot, medium volume. Go true to size. If you have wide feet, if you have medium or narrow feet, maybe go a half size down in these. So now I'm going to briefly compare the Alpha 3 with the Alpha 2. Bear in mind, this is a Made in Japan and this is an Elite. So the difference between the Made in Japan version and just the Alpha 3 compared to the Made in Japan and the Alpha 3 as is, the Elites do not have carvo in the midfoot. So you don't get that more kind of responsive, snappy feel from the carvo that you get here in this boot. I wouldn't say it's a huge game changer. I mean, if you live in that part of the world, in the Asia area where the boots are a bit cheaper, I think it's worth paying the extra money to maybe get Made in Japan. But if you're living in the UK myself, where you have to pay a lot more for Made in Japan, I don't think it's worth getting the Made in Japan. I'd rather just get the Elite. Now, in terms of playing experience between the two, I said this was probably the best boot I used last year. And in some ways, this boot improves on it, and in some ways it's a bit of a downgrade. So biggest downgrade I'd say is the lockdown. So with the Made in Japan on the Alpha 2s, you had the zero glide in the lining of the heel area, as well as on the insole. And this is like the best lockdown experience I have ever experienced. It's almost like Velcro. Like, it was so good. Bit hard to put on sometimes, but like when you had them on your feet, it was worth it. The boots feel like you had nothing on your feet as well. However, in terms of these ones, I say they vastly improve in terms of comfort compared to the Alpha 2. Like I already mentioned about the lockdown, but apart from that, I'd say these trump in terms of comfort, these trump in terms of lockdown. And it just came to me as well, if I actually want to improve the lockdown of these boots, I might just use the Zero Glide insoles in these. So yeah, if you have both of these boots, maybe that's something you can try. And one thing I am not happy about that Mizuno almost like refused to change is the laces on these boots. So yeah, these kind of like, I won't say they're cotton, but like they're very kind of thick, cottony laces that get very soggy when it's wet as well, which I personally don't understand why they use them, but I could just easily replace the laces with other laces as well. So it's not really that big a deal, but like, you think they changed that. I think this is a huge pain point for a lot of people as well, but you know, who cares? I've played in these boots now for a fair few times, and I'd say the overall experience in playing them is very enjoyable. They're a very good boot. I compare them to like a wider, slightly less aggressive version of the Nike Mercurial Vapor 13. I mean, like, it's pretty much very similar in terms of like construction as well. One-piece upper, kind of got the synthetic like mesh on top of the knits, very snug fits. Lockdown's a bit better on the Mercurial, but hey, it doesn't matter. But like I say, it's almost experience similar to that. And like I've kind of said it before, like the only kind of huge pain point I have with the boot is like the lockdown in the heel area could be a bit better. It's not to the point where like there's a lot of heel movement or anything. It just doesn't feel like as secure as it could be, if that makes sense. But like I said, I've told you what I can do, you know, runner's loop, grip socks, thicker socks, punch some extra lace holes in. So should you buy the Mizuno Alpha 3 Elite? If you're looking for a football boot which is comfortable, feels very premium, costs quite a bit less than a lot of other speed boots in the market, and is great for white feet, then this is probably the best, well, one of the best options out there in my opinion. I wouldn't get too hung up on the fact that the Elites are made in Japan. I think the price difference, if you live in, say, the Western world where the price difference is such a huge gap, I don't think it's worth getting them made in Japan. Like I've said before, the Elites are fantastic. They're fine in my opinion. They come in different like sole plates as well. You get your AG, FG, your soft ground as well. But yeah, I think these are a fantastic football boot. These are ones I definitely recommend if you're thinking of trying or looking for a wide-fitting speed boot that is very comfortable. And that is it for the video, guys. If you'd like to see more football boot unboxing reviews or anything to do with football boots, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Like always, my name is Shubami. Thanks for watching. See you next time.